Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Word of God channel. Today, I invite you to listen to Story 10, Abraham and Isaac, a test of faith. First, please share, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone. The sun rose gently over the hills, casting golden light upon Abraham's camp. Birds chirped softly, and the morning breeze carried the scent of dew-kissed grass. Abraham had walked a long path of faith, guided by God's promises. His life had been a journey of trust, from leaving his homeland of Ur to receiving the miraculous gift of Isaac. The son of promise, Isaac represented hope, the continuation of God's covenant, and the fulfillment of a promise that stretched across generations. Yet, on this day, a divine command came that would test Abraham's heart and faith in ways that no human could fully comprehend. God spoke, not with thunder or storm, but with a quiet, unmistakable authority. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There, offer him as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will show you. Abraham's heart trembled. The words pierced the quiet morning like lightning through the sky. Isaac, his beloved son, the fulfillment of years of longing and prayer, was to be offered in sacrifice. Yet in the core of Abraham's being, a profound truth resounded. God's wisdom surpasses human understanding, and obedience is the ultimate act of faith. Early the next morning, Abraham prepared for the journey. He rose before the sun, waking Isaac gently. "Come, my son," he said, his voice calm but heavy with the weight of the command. Isaac, innocent and trusting, helped gather wood for the altar. Unaware of the true purpose of their journey, the father and son, accompanied by faithful servants and flocks, set out toward the distant mountains of Moriah, each step a silent prayer, each breath a meditation on trust and courage. As they walked, Abraham's mind reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Years of obedience, patience, and unwavering faith had led to this pivotal moment. He thought of the countless stars that had once promised descendants, of Sarah's laughter at the announcement of Isaac's birth, and of every trial that had strengthened his heart. Abraham understood that faith sometimes demands the ultimate surrender, a trust so deep that it transcends fear, love, and even reason. The terrain grew rugged, the path steep, and the heat of the midday sun pressed upon them. Abraham felt the weight of the responsibility pressing down, not only the immediate responsibility for Isaac's life but the eternal significance of obedience to God's will. Every hill, every valley, and every shadow seemed alive with the tension of the moment, as if creation itself held its breath in anticipation of what was to come. Abraham's heart wrestled with anguish and devotion. He whispered prayers under his breath, seeking guidance and strength. Isaac, sensing a solemnity he could not fully understand, glanced at his father with trust and innocence. Their steps carried them closer to Moriah, each footfall echoing the tension between human love and divine command. The journey to the mountaintop became a metaphor for Abraham's life, a path of unwavering faith, a test of character, and a demonstration that the promises of God often require courage beyond comprehension. With each step, Abraham prepared not only for the physical act commanded by God but also for the spiritual trial of absolute trust. As the mountain loomed ahead, Abraham stopped briefly to gaze upon the land. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying a sense of sacred anticipation. The altar awaited, yet Abraham's heart was not ruled by fear, it was ruled by faith. The father who had waited decades for the promise of Isaac now faced the ultimate test, a moment that would define not only his obedience but the legacy of faith for all generations to come. The journey to Mount Moriah was long and arduous, stretching through rugged hills, dry valleys, and winding paths where only the steadfast could tread. Abraham and Isaac walked together in silence, the weight of the unseen test pressing on Abraham's heart with every step. Isaac, oblivious to the gravity of the command, carried the bundle of wood for the altar with diligence, his small hands steady, his trust in his father absolute. Abraham marveled at his son's innocence, yet within him, a storm of emotions raged: love, anguish, devotion, and unshakable faith. As they ascended the mount, Abraham's mind traced the path of his life. He remembered the call from Ur, the long years of wandering, the miracles of provision, the promise of a son through Sarah's laughter-filled womb. Each memory was a testament to God's faithfulness. Yet now he faced the supreme test, to surrender Isaac, the very embodiment of that promise, into God's hands. The tension between human love and divine command pressed upon his heart like the weight of the mountain itself. At one point, Abraham paused to catch his breath. Gazing at Isaac, "My son," he said softly, "God has called us on this path. I know it is hard, but we must trust him." Isaac looked up, sensing the gravity in his father's tone, yet he responded with unwavering faith. "Father, I will do as God wills," he replied innocently, his voice carrying a maturity beyond his years. They continued their climb, each step bringing them closer to the appointed place. The sun climbed high, casting shadows over the path, and the wind carried a silence that felt sacred, almost sacredly watchful. Abraham's heart beat in rhythm with the unseen presence of God, each heartbeat a prayer, each breath a surrender. Upon reaching the summit, Abraham found the place God had described. The mountain's peak was stark yet majestic, a perfect site for the altar that symbolized obedience and trust. He instructed Isaac to gather the wood into a pile while he prepared the altar stones. The father and son worked together, the air heavy with unspoken tension, their movements deliberate, measured, as if time itself had slowed to witness the moment. When the altar was complete, Abraham bound Isaac with gentle but firm hands, placing him atop the pile of wood. Isaac's eyes met his father's, filled with love and trust. Abraham's hands trembled, his heart aching with every fiber of his being. Yet he whispered a prayer, "O Lord, grant me strength, that my obedience may honor you and your promises may endure." Raising the knife, Abraham's mind and soul wrestled with anguish. This was the culmination of a lifetime of faith, a test that transcended human understanding, requiring absolute surrender. In that suspended moment, the tension was palpable, the air seemed to hold its breath, the mountains themselves silent witnesses to the ultimate act of trust. And then, a voice, clear, powerful, yet tender, broke the silence. "Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God, and that you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Abraham's heart leapt with relief and awe. He looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its horns, provided by God for the sacrifice. Tears streamed down his face as he untied Isaac, embracing him with trembling arms. Isaac, though young, sensed the divine protection surrounding them and hugged his father tightly, feeling the deep love and trust that had guided this harrowing journey. Abraham offered the ram in place of Isaac, completing the sacrifice with a heart filled with gratitude and awe. In that sacred moment, God reaffirmed his covenant, blessing Abraham and promising that his descendants would be countless, and that through them, all nations would be blessed. The mountain, once a place of tension and trial, became a testament to faith, obedience, and divine providence. After the trial, Abraham and Isaac descended Mount Moriah together, their bond stronger than ever, and their hearts aligned with God's will. The journey back was filled with reflection, reverence, and a newfound understanding of divine trust. Abraham knew that faith often demands the unthinkable, yet God's guidance transforms trials into blessings, fear into courage, and obedience into fulfillment of eternal promises. The story of Mount Moriah became a cornerstone of faith for generations. Abraham's unwavering trust, Isaac's innocence and compliance, and God's miraculous provision illustrate that true faith is tested in moments of profound challenge. The narrative teaches that trust in God, even in the face of the unimaginable, brings guidance, protection, and blessings far beyond human comprehension. The story of Abraham and Isaac on Mount Moriah stands as one of the most profound lessons in faith, obedience, and trust in God. Abraham's journey teaches that faith is not passive, it requires action, courage, and the willingness to surrender what we hold most dear. The ultimate test he faced, being asked to sacrifice his beloved son, reveals the depth of commitment and devotion that true faith demands. Yet it also demonstrates that God's plans are perfect, and he provides for those who trust him completely. One of the most important lessons is the power of obedience. Abraham's unquestioning compliance shows that obedience is a form of worship, an acknowledgement that God's wisdom surpasses human understanding. Even when the command challenged every natural instinct of love and protection, Abraham's heart remained aligned with God's will. True obedience often requires sacrifice, patience, and trust, and it is in such moments that faith is most profoundly tested and revealed. Another key lesson is trust in divine provision. When Abraham prepared to offer Isaac, God intervened, providing a ram as a substitute. This moment illustrates that when we place our lives fully in God's hands, he provides a way forward, even when circumstances seem impossible. Trusting God allows us to face life's most daunting challenges with confidence. knowing that he is faithful and his plans are perfect. The story also emphasizes the importance of courage in faith. Abraham's courage was not the absence of fear, but the strength to act despite it. He walked a path of uncertainty, emotionally and spiritually, yet continued forward because of his unwavering trust in God. This courage is a model for all who seek to live faithfully, teaching that fear is natural, but it should never override obedience or trust in God's promises. Finally, the narrative underscores the enduring impact of faith across generations. Abraham's obedience and trust established a legacy, shaping the lives of his descendants and setting a foundation for God's covenant to unfold. The choices we make in faith can influence not only our own lives but also the lives of generations to come. Abraham's story reminds us that faith is active, generational, and transformative. In conclusion, the test on Mount Moriah is a timeless reminder that faith requires trust, obedience, and courage, even in moments of fear and uncertainty. Surrendering to God's will brings divine provision, strengthens character, and fulfills promises that extend beyond our understanding. Abraham and Isaac's story inspires us to walk boldly in faith, trusting that God's plan is perfect, His love is boundless, and His blessings will endure through the generations. Next video, I invite you to listen to Story 11, Jacob and Esau. Please share, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone.